Hello, Brian the Fanboy here, and today I'm going to review Saban's Mask Rider, and I'm going to compare it with Kamen Rider Black RX. Now, originally, the Mask Rider character was introduced to American audience in the three-part Power Rangers Season 3 episode of Red and Need. And this was supposed to be like a pilot for the character's own series. So anyway, the three-part episode starts with by showing the planet Illinois, which has been conquered by an evil ruler named Count Dragon. And Count Dragon, his RS counterpart is Yenru Jaku. And they're both the main villains of their series. Well, you see, an RX Jack, he was like following orders from the Crisis Empire's ruler, Emperor Crisis, but Count Dragon, he answers to no one. He's the top high of all the villains of his fleet. And then we get his second in command, Nefaria, who is a woman who wears a helmet with a yellow feather on it, and her counterpart is Mary Baron. Now, the other ones, we have this creature called Double Face, who is well, he looks like he wears a white helmet with a red visor, and the forehead part of his helmet is a small face, which in a way is also his face, hence the name Double Face. And his counterpart is Bosukan. Another character is Cyclopter, who is one-eyed robot, and his counterpart is Goduzone. Then we meet Cork, who is kind of like a fan creature, and his counterpart is Gitorian. Another thing is Cork, he only speaks in rhymes, which kind of becomes annoying among the other villains. And finally, we get Fact. He's a small robot, and he well, his counterpart is uh, Robo Chopra. Now, like I said before, Illinois was conquered by Dragon, and the people of the planet was enslaved. And also, before Count Dragon attacked, the ruler of Illinois was an old man named King Lexian. Now, on Earth's moon, Lord Seg was looking at what's going on in Illinois, and Rita wanted to know what's going on, and well, it revealed that Count Dragon is a rival of Lord Zed. And Zed has looked how many worlds that Dragon had conquered, yet he and Rita have been able to conquer planet Earth. So on Earth, Alpha 5 seems to be worried because of the strict signal from Illinois. And then Sorter decided to contact the Rangers to help. So the Rangers, except for Kimberly, who was sick at the time, went to the command center. And so the Rangers decided to go to Illinois and see what's going on. Oh, another thing I'm going to mention is that you see it's been revealed that Alpha 5 was built by King Lexian. He was put on Illinois by King Lexian. And once the Rangers got to Earth, they saw how bad things were on Illinois, and some, and then some of these people, the rebels at Illinois, who've been resisting Count Reagan, or at least fighting against the forces of Count Reagan, they the fighter ranges, and one of them turned into a bug-like warrior called Mass Rider, and he and his friends started to fight the Rangers because they thought they were working for Count Reagan, but then eventually they realized that they were both on the same side, and so yeah, because one of Count Reagan's monsters attacked the Rangers, and well, Mass Rider said that that not even Dragon is low enough to attack his own minions. And then they retreated into a cave, and then Mass Rider he went back to his regular form and revealed his identity, and even his friends did the same thing too. And since well now and Mass Rider well in his regular form he told the Rangers that he his friends provided them with their identities, and well but the Rangers do the same, and the Rangers took off their helmets and introduced themselves. Now the Mass Rider reveals that his name is Prince Tex, and he told the Rangers about how Illinois was once a utopia, and there was no need for weapons. Oh, he also used this gem on his forehead to project an image, so he can show the Rangers, what he's talking about as well. And yes, like I said before, Tex said that Illinois was, a paradise, and there were racist scholars, so there was no need for weapons. Of course, it considered to be unprepared, and suddenly Gunbreaker started to attack the planet, and that's why Illinois is in the condition it's in. And even Draken has got his forces to force the people of Illinois to take up toxic gas, which kind of affected the planet's atmosphere. Now, back on Earth, well, Rita and Seth took advantage of Tormentor's absence, so they sent down a monster, and well, even though Kimberly was sick, she agreed, to do her part while the Rangers are away. But eventually, the monster got, her flu as well, and that was in part two. And then by part three, well, they started to Mass Rider, his friends, interventions to join forces, and well, they defeated this group of villains called Plague Patrol, and then the Plague Patrol retreated. And then they got a contact from Sordon, or yeah, and Alpha, telling them to go back to Earth because of the monster and eventually, well, the Rangers said goodbye to the Edenites and went back and returned to Earth. And Count Reagan, who saw what's going on Illinois, what the Rangers did on to his Plague Patrol, decided to make Earth his next target. And so he set a course for Earth. Back on also once the Rangers arrived, well, the monster became giant, and the Rangers go on their swords and from the Megazord of that, yeah, third Megazord, and defeated the monster. And then later, the Rangers went right to the command center and talked about Dex and well, anyway, the three-part episode ends with King Lexian telling Dex about to go to Earth, since I mean, he told Dex that Earth became Trigger's next target, and that Tex should leave Illinois in order to protect Earth from Count Reagan. At first, Tex was reluctant, but King Lexian reminded him of his duty as Masked Rider, and so they hug and it leads the way for the Masked Rider series. Oh, and I forgot to mention that when Dex was talking to the Rangers about what's going on in Illinois, well, he told that about how the Masked Rider has become a champion, and well, Dex he was not the first. There were others before him, and that he was given the Masked Rider powers by King Lexian. And now we get to the Masked Rider TV series. Oh, I forgot to mention that Dex, well, his counterpart is Minam, Minami Kotaro, who, well, first became Kamen Rider Black, and then became Kamen Rider Black RX. Now, as for the Master Raiders TV series, well, just like in that three-part Power Ranger episode, it starts by showing the planet Illinois. And also, we're introduced to this creature called Furbis, who kind of looks like Furby. Oh, yes, and well, Dog Digger was getting ready to Earth, and it was time for Tex to leave. And well, first thing is that King Lexian gave Tex and a disguise so he could fit up among the people of Earth. Even the gem, which is a thing that Eternites usually have, but it was hidden, so it will be insuspicious amongst the Earthlings. And the outfit he was given to wear on Earth is the same outfit that was worn by Minami Kodoro. And then eventually, oh, I forgot to mention Texas friends. Well, there was Daenerys, Savius, and Period. That's all I could think of. Well, anyway, once Dex was given his earthly disguise, King Lexian sent Dex to Earth. Or at least he was on his way to Earth. Yes, and well, on Earth, start off at night, we meet this family called the Stewarts. Now, first we have Hal Stewart, who was well, he is a handyman and part-time inventor. Then we have his wife, Barbara. She is a caterer and also part-time homemaker. And then we meet their children. Molly, she is the oldest daughter, and yes, she's a teenager. And then we have Albie, who, the son, and he's of elementary school age. And I forgot to mention, well, Hal, his counterpart is she she's not forget his name, but yes, and for Barbara is Utaku, and as for Molly and Albie, well, their counterparts are Hitomi and Shigeru. Now this is where a big difference come in, with their counterparts. You see, in RX, Shigeru is the older brother, while Hitomi is the younger sister, but Molly is the older sister, while Albie is the younger brother. Another difference is that, well, Molly's a teenager and Albie is of elementary school age, but in RX, both Shigeru and Hitomi are both of elementary school age. Of course, they were a few years apart, but they weren't. Neither one was a teenager. See, but anyway, what's happening is that Molly was talking to this girl on the phone girl on the phone called Patsy Carbuncle. And well, Patsy told me that she wanted her to come over. And with her, Patsy was this guy named Herbie. He was his last name was never revealed, or at least the people who made that show never gave him one. But anyway, the real reason Patsy wanted Molly to come over was to play a prank with her because she was upset that Molly got a lead in the school play. And then suddenly, a crash happened, and well, Patsy thought it was Hal working as one of his inventions. Then the Stewart family went out and see what happened, and they found Dex inside a giant crater in the yard. Maybe it was a backyard, but anyway, he was invited in, and well, Dex told the stewards about him coming from Illinois and everything's going on, but of course at first didn't believe him, and well, realizing this, he decided to show them, and he made his gym appear, become visible, and showed images of heaven, and told the stewards about how the people on his planet were peaceful, and that there was no need for weapons, but then got triggered an attack, and yes, I told this before earlier in this video. So, and he also told about how he was given the powers by his grandfather to become mass writer. And well, the stewards felt sorry for him, for the tragedy he's been through, and offered to let him stay over the night. And also, well, when he first met the stewards, well, his way of talking was not gonna. It's hard to explain, but Alfie suggested that in order to talk better among humans, that tends to watch television. Of course, that kind of didn't work out in the way he planned. I mean, yes, they've been watching the on television, but anyway. Oh yeah, yes. Well, when Dex, Molly, and Alfie were alone in the living room, it's revealed that Purvis followed Dex all the way from Illinois. Of course, they wanted to decide to, well, Molly and Alfie decided to have Dex hide Purvis because, well, Hal is allergic to fur, which is why they weren't able to keep a pet. Oh, I forgot to mention that after Dex told the family about what we've been through, Alfie suggested that maybe that Hal and Barbara can adopt Dex, just like they adopted Molly and Albie. So yes, Molly and Albie aren't their biological children; they were adopted. But they they still love the children all the same. And then, well, in the morning, a news report came on about an attacks coming in the city, and I forgot to mention the name of the city that uh, that's the name is called Leewood. Well, anyway, yeah. So in the morning, Dex went into how to help to deal with what's going on, and he transformed into a Mass Rider. And well, the way he transforms is by doing this: Ectophase activate, and he turns into Mass Rider. And he went in to deal with the situation, and it was a monster. And well, Dex fought the monster and won. I forgot to mention that in this series, the monsters are called insectivores, although in the opening, the narrative says insectoids. But yes, well, after Tex defeated the Insectovore, he went back home and he went back to the steward's house, and Hal and Barbara asked Tex if he would like to become part of their family, and Tex accepted it, and he was glad to be part of the family again. And here's an interesting thing: that part of the footage, that scene was shown in an episode of Power Rangers Time Force. When Tia was watching it. Well, in the next episode, Tex started his first day of school, and Fergus wanted to come, but there's a bit. However, despite Tex leaving for some ago, he decided to sneak in anyway. Now, in the school, well, we meet Principal Chalmers, who's the principal, and well, during the series, he knows there's something with X that wasn't he knows something strange with X, but he has didn't couldn't find out that he came from another planet. But that's a secret among Dex and his new family. And then we another also that's where we meet Dex also meets Betsy Herbie and like Principal Chalmers, Betsy knew there was something about Dex that was strange, but yeah, well anyway another teacher we well be another member of the school we meet is Mr. I forgot his name. Yeah, but he was mostly the science teacher, and he's the main teacher, just like Miss Appleby was the main teacher of the Power Rangers. And in a way, yes, and in that episode, Purvis got some had caused Dex some trouble. His first to school, and was angry about it. And then in the episode after that, well, there was a Nefaria decided to have these two predators sent out to kidnap Purvis. That's a way to her Max Rider or something like that. And in that episode, it's revealed that Purvis' species is called a monotonal something. I forgot, but I just call him Purvis since that's easier. And Purvis when two persons came to capture him, Purvis he deal with them the same way Kivit dealt with the burglars in Home Alone. And then once the family came back and to reveal what's going on, they decided not to keep Purvis a secret any longer, and uh, Hal and Barbara agreed to let Purvis stay at home. And then for the rest of the series, Hal was no longer allergic to Purvis, and yeah, without any explanation. A few episodes where we get well, Texas one of Texas' friends, Danaeus, he was sent to Earth by King Lexian to give Tex this a new enhancement to his power called. Oh wait, before that, I forgot to mention that in the second episode of Mass Rider, well, Tex used his powers to create these two vehicles. One was called Combat Shepherd, who was modeled after a grasshopper, and his counterpart is Agurbada, who was once Badro Hoba and Pharaoh the Black, President Gear Agurbada and RX. And then his the other vehicle Tex made is called Magno, and she is she was modeled after an ant-like creature, and her counterpart is Rider on. Now the Rider, I think he hurts because uh, Chopper is has a male voice and Magno has a female voice, which explains, well, anyway, yes, as I was saying before, oh yes, when yes, the Naias came to Earth to give Tex a new power. However, before that happened, however, Tex managed to capture, I mean, Dragon captured the Naias and turned him into an evil version of Mask Rider called Robo Rider. And he went on, now, yes, and also in Kamen Rider RX, as well as Kamen Rider Black, this was Shadow Moon, who was Kodoro's other brother, who was captured by Gorgo to become Shadow Moon, and then joined forces with Crisis when he came back. August, it took I think it was two episodes, yes, when until the next episode where Atenea was finally broken free of the control, he became himself again, and gave Tex, what he needed to enhance his power, and Dex became Mass Rider. Well, his second, well, it was called Mass Rider Super Gold. And here's the interesting thing is that in RX, this mod was called Robo Rider, I mean Robo Rider. Even though in the Mass Saban's Mass Rider, it was the Shadow Moon who was called Robo Rider. Even though I don't want to get too much into it, but if you've seen RX, then I think you know what I'm talking about. Now, and then we get to the Christmas episode, and revealed that Texas misses his grandfather, and he contacted King Lexian to ask you to come, for a visit, and King Lexian says he couldn't because of his duty as king, and sometimes his sons are their duties will outweigh the things they want, and Lexi accepted it, so but still not with his new family, and of course the episode had a happy ending, and King Alexian was able to come visit, thanks to the people of Illinois who were willing to look things after, during his short stay. Now, a few episodes afterward, the Nails came back to give Tex a new enhancement to his fighter powers, in which it was given it became Mouse Rider Super Blue. And in RX, this mode was called Boy Rider. And let's see, a few more episodes, major things that should point out. Let's see, oh yes, now, like I said before, um, Count Dragon, he doesn't answer to anybody, but his counterpart, Jack, he does, and even though Master Rider didn't show, Dragon having a boss, Emperor Crisis was shown, but he was, well, he was given well, according to Master Rider, Grace's American counterpart is was some kind of evil that was buried, many centuries before. Of course, once they arrived, Nefaria pointed out that she didn't think, how powerful this creature was, and well, it showed that he was more powerful than Dragon, and decided they're gonna agree to, let this creature rule as well. But of course, Mass Rider defeated this creature, and that was it. Oh, I forgot to mention about the Insectivores. They were well, each one starts out as this like little things that are stored inside these small containers. And Dragon he will just put these containers inside this thing, and then they come to Earth. They become human size. Now now and a bunch of episodes happen as well. This is one particular episode you mentioned where well two special episodes where the sewer family were captured by Dragon, but then they had clones that were sent to attack Dex, but then eventually the sewer family escaped, and well eventually Dex recognized could tell whose real family was, and the clones they all disappeared. And then another episode where we have Barbara being captured, only this time it was to replace Nefaria after Nefaria, started speaking of a Kang's dragon. And well, when he was once he captured Barbara, he used this device to transfer Nefaria's personality into Barbara. She became Barbaria and tried to corrupt the family into being evil. And but of course that didn't work, and they noticed how he was different, and they knew contradicted something to her. And eventually, Mass Mass Rider didn't want to fight, refused to fight Barbaria or Barbara because that's his mom. Yeah, I mean, I thought him of course, but still. Uh, and once he showed his love for her, then it kind of helped her memories come back, and then he used the device to get her whole personality back and was Barbara again, and came back to Earth. And then another episode dealt with this creature called the Octosex. In RX, this was Mary Barron's aunt, the 100-eyed hag, Nefarious counterpart, Mary Barron, and then it's supposed to be a legend, and the monster was artificial, so of course it must have been like his fight, and Dex he uses grandfather's wisdom to dull his fear. And then another episode showing how the board in the sewer family was Dex. Well, revealed that Dragon sent creatures to oh yeah, forgot to mention that there were a few foot soldiers, group of foot soldiers that Dragon has. There are these maggots, and they have no Japanese counterparts. They're American made. And we have commandoids, and yes, anyway, I think one of the maggots who put something inside Dex, which has to be sick, and where Purpose got King Lexian to come and to use his powers to cure Dex. Other people, and and the family also helped too, which showed that Dex has chose the right family to be with. When he first came to Earth, because they were good people. And then we get to the final episode where Dragon decided that enough was enough and wanna try to do an all-out assault on Earth, and he challenged Max Rider to come and fight him. Oh, I forgot to mention before that happened. The oh yeah, it was Dragon. He had a clone called it's more powerful than him, or more evil, and an RX. This was just General Jack in a new form. Of course, Max Rider defeated this clone, and now back to the final episode. Well, Dax he contacted his grandfather and asked what he should do, and But King Lexia said that he will call on the powers of the mass rider warriors, who were the mass riders that came before Tex. And well, Tex went on to, well, most of the people went to the school as kind of like a shelter thing. Oh, I forgot to mention, to read the series, I forgot to mention that the kids hang out at this arcade called Cosmos, and just like how the branches went to youth center, and the owner of Cosmos is a guy named Moon this is how Ernie was in charge of the youth center. Anyway, back to the final episode. Yes, he went out to do what he can, and also the narrative pointed out that on a faraway planet, the Masked Rider warriors were training in order to help Tex. Of course, in RX, these were this happened in Arizona. Another thing, the Masked Warriors that were shown, these were all the Kamen Riders that came before Minami Kodoro. And they were in, anyway, during the battle, Tex, Tex was, hurt, but the Masked Rider Warriors came and they helped him recover and introduce themselves. And then eventually Tex joined all the other Masked Rider Warriors, and they well, he transformed, and they all fought during his forces together. And there was this one Insectivore who was really causing Texas trouble, and well, he knew what to do. He went super blue and got his and used his powers to get some water, and then so he can use that to help him escape in time. And well, the Insectivore was destroyed, and well, Tex did make it out in time. Of course, in RX, when that was coming on, well, he Cordero didn't return until few episodes later. But I guess since it was a kid shows in the 90s in America, an American kid shows in the 90s, so it's supposed to be. Well, they couldn't have any set endings like that because, well, parents back then were like concerned about. I mean, they should be concerned now, but kind of stuff. Well, anyway, yes, well, Dex and the Masked Warriors, defeated Trigger's plan, and well, unlike RX, the main villains, the regular characters were never shown to be destroyed. Each one, only the Insectables have been destroyed, but Triga, Nefaria, and all the other main villains, they were um they were never shown being destroyed, and that was probably maybe because maybe Saban wanted to add a second season, which of course never happened. And the episode ended with everybody safe, and the family was spending time together, and Tex went outside to talk to his grandfather and thank him for everything he's done, and also King Lexian congratulated Tex on a job well done, and even told him that one day Tex will have a son who will too become a mass fighter. And that's how the series ended. And yes, and what I think about it, well, it's really not the best of the adaptation of a Kamen Rider series, and it's easy to see why it was never picked up for a second season, and also why Toei decided to not let Saban adapt the Kamen Rider series ever again, because I didn't like, or from what I heard, they didn't like it. But yeah, it's really not. But and as for did I should watch it? Well, yeah, I think it's somebody for children to watch this series. I mean, yes, it's not the best series at all. I mean, but at least it's safe. I mean, unlike what most kids are doing these days. So, and of course, all episodes are available on YouTube. That's why I saw them. Of course, uh, I want to recommend watching, the original Japanese version. And even Harm Sabat didn't adapt another Kamen Rider series, it wouldn't be the last Kamen Rider series to be adapted because, well, the next adaptation of a Kamen Rider series was Kamen Rider Dragon Knight, which was adapted from Kamen Rider Ryuki. And, well, from what I heard, it's a better adaptation than what Saban did. So, yes, I think that's all I can say about Saban's Smash Rider in this video and its comparison with Kamen Rider Black RX. And also, please subscribe to my channel because it will help me a lot. And also, please share this video on social media like Facebook, Twitter, or whatever. So, that's it, and until next time. Bye.